Previously on Timbecon's Back to Basics. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Timbecon, the home of all things you need to get woodworking, in association with Gradually Wizardly, are proud to present this Back to Basics series, all about making boxes. And without further ado, here is your host, Phil Okay, calm down. My name's Phil Schönbein. That narrator has a new microphone and he's very excited about it. In this series of videos, we're going to make a bunch of boxes to varying degrees of complexity, starting with this one here and ending up with these cabinets with drawers in them down here. We're going to use very basic tools and materials, and it should be a lot of fun. Stick around. What a cool hat. Man, this guy's got all the best stuff. In part 1 of this series, we made a box. Part 2, we made 3 boxes that were bigger than the first box. In this video, part 3, we're making one box again, but a big one. We're making a cabinet to put our drawers in. This cabinet is built into or inset into some pallet racking shelving, so it doesn't have a kicker or a base of any kind. It is just a very straightforward box, and this is just one way to make a cabinet box. Like all things in woodworking, there are a million ways to get a hairless cat. You can even go buy one of those creepy hairless cats if you want. Stick around. Alrighty, so we got the Pocket Hole Jig 200, the corner clamping guide kit, right? And we've got the mallets and tape and pens and stuff. We got the face clamp. In materials and parts land, we've got the classic Tight 3. We got some pocket screws. We've got some 18mm plywood for the box. We got the drawer slides and the screws for the slides. And we got just a backer board and some nails to hold it on. Design is the most important part of any project, and it kind of bugs me that everyone skips it or at best glosses over it. Which I suppose in a way I'm kind of doing here as well. But this particular box is actually a duplicate of one that I made 6 months ago. And I can't remember the dimensions of the first one. So conveniently I don't need to. I should say cabinet making is actually a full trade. There is a lot more that goes into proper cabinets, but these are just basic, straightforward shop furniture cabinets. So the parts for this box are pre-cut. It's just faster that way. I've done it for brevity. You don't need to see a expanding middle-aged white guy cut plywood. There's tons of that all over YouTube. I do want to say, however, just a quick thing about the plywood itself. I got it from a refit of a drum shop that became a co-working space out in Pran years ago. You don't necessarily need to get fancy materials to build out your workshop. You can simply use up whatever you've got lying around. There are a ton of ways to make a cabinet carcass. Today we're just going to use basic straight up pocket holes and glue. Lift here. Now, one of the things you need to think of when dealing with pocket holes is that they are very convenient in place of clamps, but they're very ugly. So you kind of need to stick them where you're not going to see them, right? So with that in mind, the first thing you do is lay out where they're going to be on the inside of the cabinet. If it's got drawers, you're going to want to put it kind of where the drawers are, right? This face frame clamp makes it very convenient in that you hold the thing exactly where it needs to be. Yeah. Generally, you would start by actually clamping it in place with your dry fit. You saw me do that in the last video. But unfortunately, I had a card fail and we lost that bit of footage. Yay! So I pulled the screws back out, and then now I'm putting it back together with glue. And you have to make those flatulent noises every time you spread glue anywhere. or else, you know, you're just not woodworking properly. Ooh, gratuitous wiping. How YouTube. Remember earlier in this video when I mentioned creepy bald cats? You guys should go check out Chris Zurich's video on these corner clamping square kits. It is very, very good. So now we're coming up on the fun bit, drawer slide installation. Cut spacers, don't measure it. It's just easier that way. And always mark which way is the front of the cabinet. Usually I use a pencil, but you know, doing this for a YouTube presentation, so let's make it as obvious as possible. I always start with the back. I don't know if it makes any difference. But generally, you put in the back screw, then the front screw, and then the middle screw. You don't kind of go in a line. You know. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what order you put the screws in, so long as they're all in straight and square and true. Now here's a pro tip. If you can swing it, always install these drawer slides in montage mode. It's just so much faster. Seriously though, when you get to your spacers, make sure you mark one corner on both sides of the board, just in case your spacer isn't perfectly square. It'll be out by the same amount on both sides, which will make it being out moot. Ta-da! Hey, who you pointing at? So rude. I'm hilarious. You are recording already. So when you do go to install your boxes, you don't necessarily need such a massive gap. 12 mil is a bit ridiculous. Having the longer sticks is actually very convenient. So you start with the two front slotted holes, right? And you put the screws in there. And then what you want to do is make sure that when the drawer is closed, the drawer is sitting in the right spot in the cabinet. Here it's not quite. It's sticking out a bit too far in the front, on the right. This is why the holes on drawer slides are slotted as opposed to just round. So once you have them in the right spot, then you pull the drawer out and you just start attaching the rest of the screws. I tend to use the slots front to back regardless, all the way along. For the back two, it is so much easier to take the drawer out than to try to fight it. Get in there. I'll just block the whole everything, shall I? Where'd the other one go? And the big one. Hey, can you guys see up my nose? Yeah, and then it's just a matter of putting on the back here. You can just put this on whatever you got. Nails, screws, doesn't matter. It's only there to keep the cabinet box itself from racking. Ooh, fancy. So there you have it. Thus far, we've made a box, we made 3 boxes, and now we've made a big box. We put the 3 boxes in the big box, and then the first little box inside one of those other 3 boxes. Boxception going on. If it's your first time here, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Check out the links down below in the doobly-doo. Subscribe to both Timbecon's channel and my own, Gradually Wizardly. I'm Phil Shinbine, and I will see you when I see you. Well, that's all the stuff I was going to do for Timbecon. I just wish it was a bit tidier back here.
and a bit more orange. I got it. Stop starting sentences with so. Sorry, Shelton.